We all know that the gear makes the photographer. So today we are going to look at what is in my camera bag. Welcome to Grant Takes Pictures. I'm Grant and I take pictures. So obviously the camera does not make the photographer, but it is always interesting to see what is in a camera bag. You need the right tools for the job. So these tools are set up for the types of photography that I like taking. That includes landscapes and especially nighttime starscapes of the Milky Way with foreground in front of it. So that is what this is set up for. And let me show you what's in the bag. To start with, this bag is a Osprey, Stratos 34. I got this bag originally as a hiking backpack, but it's great for photography gear as well. I had bought it when my son was newborn and I was hiking around a lot for him. This was a great diaper bag as well. Cameras and diapers tend to be right about the same size. So I was able to repurpose this bag when I started going out hiking with my camera a little bit more. On the outside of the bag, I carry my tripod, which is right here. This tripod is a three-legged thing, Punk's Anarchy Billy, I believe they call it. It is carbon fiber, it's lightweight and sturdy. The legs slide very easily, lock and unlock quickly, which is great when I'm trying to set up quickly to capture some fading light in the mountains. It extends almost full height, probably almost 6 feet tall, so I don't have to squat down to take a look through the viewfinder. And it can also get real low to the ground. This center column can come out, turn around, and go in the bottom. And so I can almost have my camera literally resting on the ground and taking shots very low to the ground. The only thing I don't love about this tripod is the ball head that comes with it. It's a little bit light and not quite sturdy enough for a full-size camera with a full-size lens. This is something I will probably upgrade relatively soon. So when I'm using my larger lenses, it doesn't slide, especially when I'm doing portrait-oriented photos and have the ball head off to the side. It tends to slip down. So that is the only thing that I would say could be better on this, but the ball head is replaceable, and Three-Legged Things sells a reasonably priced, more beefy ball head that I will probably be using later this year. So that's the tripod. Also on the outside of my backpack is this Peak Design clip. It allows me to put any camera with Arca Swiss plate on it right here on the shoulder strap. So it makes it so it can easily hold one of my two cameras when I'm filming, or just my main photography camera when I'm out there. It has no problem with the full-size 5D Mark III with the 24 to 70 millimeter lens. It's not great when you put on a bigger lens than that, but that's my main lens, so it works very well for that. I originally got this for a trip through the Narrows in Zion National Park. Because there's no real place to put down a bag that's dry, I got this so I could always have my camera with me and be able to grab it very easily. And I hung a tripod from this strap here, and on the waist belt I have this little rubber band so the tripod wouldn't swing around too much, and it worked wonderfully. So that's why I originally got this Peak Design clip, and I keep it on this backpack. I don't use this when I'm backpacking because it gets in the way of the way my backpacks load lifters work, but for this backpack it's wonderful. Moving on inside the bag, I have a couple things that aren't exactly photography related. I have a headlamp because I'm often hiking in the dark. I have a whistle in case I get lost, and a lighter in case I need to start a fire. I also carry around in this bottom pouch a notepad and pen. If I can find where they are, here we go. A notepad and pen, so I can write down notes, mostly about photography, but also about anything else I feel like writing down. Sometimes I have quite a bit of spare time when I'm waiting for the light to fade or for the sun to come up, and I will just write notes, whatever comes to me as I sit there and just kind of watch the beauty of the outdoors. And then I also in here carry around a roll of gaffer tape. This comes in incredibly handy. I use it to lock down my focus ring when I'm shooting nighttime shots. I use it to strap my GoPro onto my tripod, as you've seen in some other videos. I use it for a lot of different things, so this always comes with me. I don't always carry the entire roll. Sometimes I just take a strip off and put it on the tripod in case I'm trying to save weight, but a roll of gaffer tape is always invaluable. And now let's move on to the main event. In here, in the big compartment of the backpack, I have another bag. So inside my backpack, I carry this Tenba BYOB, which stands for Bring Your Own Bag 13. It's one of the larger sizes. It fits great in this backpack though. So inside the BYOB, I have all of my actual photography gear. Up here at the top, I have a bunch of different batteries. I have 4 or 5 of them. I have my remote timer. I have a bubble level, a lens cleaning pen, some other odds and ends. And then in here, I have my 5D Mark III and my 24 to 70 f2.8 L Canon Lens. This is a wonderful all-around lens. It is great for almost anything I want to take pictures of. 2/3 of the pictures I take are with this single lens. I just got this camera last year. I got it used off of eBay. It seems to be the way to get most camera equipment, unless you want the latest and greatest. So this camera has been wonderful since I got it. It's my first full frame camera. So far I'm nowhere near being able to push the outside capabilities of this camera. So 5D Mark III, 24 to 70 f2.8 lens. The second lens I normally carry with me is this 70 to 200 f2.8. This is the original model, no internal stabilization to it. Because I'm shooting most of the time with a tripod, the internal stabilization isn't really needed, and I don't want to carry the extra weight of having the internal stabilization. So on this lens, I have Arca Swiss plate, so I can mount my tripod here and balance it out a little bit better. Great all-around lens. Also in the camera bag, I have filters. So I have this little case for filters that I can clip onto my belt loop if I'm not carrying my entire bag or if I want it close at hand. Inside I have a series of filters. I have some graduated ND filters. These are Corkins. They work great. They're not that expensive, but it requires that you have a Corkin adapter. Works wonderfully, except for when I'm shooting real wide. If I'm out at 24 millimeters, I start to see the edges here of the plastic. So it's not great for that. But you know, if I'm shooting even a little bit narrower, if I'm at 30 millimeters or anything more narrow than that, it works great. I also have 1, 2, and 3 stop ND filters. I also have a 10 stop ND filter, which you've seen me use in a couple videos, in my most recent firework video, and I think even in my year-end beach video, I used this for a couple photos. But this is great if you want to do some real long exposure photography. And finally, I have a polarizing filter. It's a circular polarizer when I need to cut down the glare on the water when I'm taking pictures of rivers or lakes. The final thing I have in my bag here are some of these chemical hand warmers. I bought a giant box of, I want to say it was something like 120 pairs of these, and I use them not to warm my hands, but to warm my lenses on long, late nights taking pictures of the stars. What these do is you take them out of the package, you wrap them around the lens, and hold it with a rubber band, just like that. And then I made a couple of these insulators that can just wrap around the lens. This is just some wax canvas and Velcro. So it just holds it on, keeps the heat in a little bit. And so this will allow the lens to stay nice and warm on cold, damp nights, and will ensure that the lens doesn't fog over as you're taking long exposures or time-lapse photos of the stars. So this was the final thing in my bag here. I will have a description of absolutely everything that is in my bag, including the clothes and camping gear and the video gear that I use on my website. There will be a link down in the description below. So click on that if you want a more full list of everything that I use for outdoor photography. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you want to see how I use all of this camera gear to take beautiful pictures of the outdoors in the not too distant future. So until then, have a great day. Also on the outside of my backpack is, that was inelegant.